Alright, it's Jake Mace again, the vegan athlete, and it's June the 11th, 2013. We're going to give you an update on how my garden is doing in Phoenix, Arizona. It's 110 degrees outside, and believe it or not, even when it's that hot, we can still grow some really delicious stuff at home. So let's get started, and I'll give you a little bit of an update, a tour, a little walk around, and hopefully you guys can give me some tips, feedback, and advice, and some comments down below. Alright, let's do it. So the first thing you're going to see today is my cat enclosure. We've rescued a bunch of cats over the years. We have 5 cats currently, and there's Hey-Hoo. She's getting some sun and enjoying the insects and bugs. This is a little atrium that's chicken wired in with 3 levels so that the cats can jump and get some height and some sun and all that kind of stuff. And I've got this blueberry grapevine growing around it. And last time we checked in this grapevine, it wasn't, and it didn't have any ripe grapes yet, but now it does. Look at that. Oh yes, those are called ripe grapes. Let's pick that black one right there. If you guys can see, sorry about my hands being all dirty. I've been gardening. And check that guy out right there. Give it a little focus. Oh my God, it looks so good. I'm gonna eat this guy right now, right in front of you guys. So we got this little bluish black blueberry grape. See it? Oh my God, so good. There's like little seeds, but there's hardly anything. And this grape was literally 1/5 the size last year, and this year it's exploded. Look at that. One grapevine, and it's climbing up over top of the entire enclosure. I think I pruned it just perfect during the winter time. Then we got some pineapple mint growing here around the enclosure. This stuff's really good, chocolate mint. In here we got our loofah vine just starting. Look at this guy, he's just reached the enclosure. So I will do a video in about a month and a half, and you will see how invasive and crazy this loofah vine can get. One loofah vine last year, we pulled off over 150 loofahs off one vine, and we gave them to everybody we knew as gifts. So it has begun. Our catnip is growing on the inside, and what I do is when the catnip was really small, I put chicken wire over it so the cats couldn't lay on it and crush it, so it's grown through the chicken wire. And look, it's gone to flower. I even have all this catnip on the outside now that's kind of volunteer, so this catnip is really amazing. I planted it 2 years ago, and it just keeps coming back every year, and the cats enjoy it. They get to have it in their enclosure. So lucky cats. There's Dusty Cat in there. Hey Dusty. Dusty. There he is. They know something's going on. Okay, so next to the catnip down here we have another grapevine. It's doing pretty nice. It's also huge, and look at it, it's just kind of pouring off the cat enclosure. So the gaps, like right here and over here, will be completely covered in about a month and a half with loofah. So I got a second loofah down here. This loofah is my experiment. I planted him in the native dirt, just like the clay, but I covered it with all this wood chips that I get for free from a local tree service. And so the wood chips keeps the moisture in the clay, and look at it, he's growing. So I wanted to see if something can actually grow in the clay, and this loofah is doing pretty well. He's caught on behind over here, behind the grapes, and he's going up, 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 and that's where he stopped right now, right there. So we got grapes, we got loofah, doing pretty well here. We got this apple mint, which is just growing on its own in the kind of the mulch pits of all the grapevines. I really cover everything in wood chips. These were locally cut down wood chips. They're ash trees, native trees, and this local tree company I got word of through a friend of mine. Delivered them for free, 5 different semi-truck loads, and we covered everything with them. So over here in this box I showed you before, we had the melons, we have the cacao pumpkins growing. They're kind of turning kind of yellow, and they look pretty good, pretty healthy. These cacao pumpkins, our Christmas pole beans, these are the Christmas lima pole beans, and these guys have been a hit. They really kind of grow up and over everything, and they're just coming over top of the trellis I put up there for them. And they put off these amazing pods, and the pods dry out pretty quick, and then there's a purplish, fun decorative little bean on the inside. I'll try to find one for you guys, but these ones haven't really gone to seed yet, even though the ones in the front yard have. And we have our fig tree here. The fig tree is cool because it's a green fig that one of my friends just gave me a stick. I planted it, and now look at this fig tree. And this green fig tree helps to shade that box right there, that raised bed. And in the wintertime, all the leaves go away because it's deciduous, and then my greens can have enough light in the wintertime. So if you look, these figs are so cool. Okay, my figs are my favorite thing. So I planted half a dozen fig trees here at our property in Tempe. And they start kind of like this, like some are medium, some are small, and then they get really big before they get ripe. So if you look at this one right here, let's see if I can show you. Let me show you one. I'll give you an example. Okay, here's a good example. All right, see how this cluster has got some that are small and more dark green, and then some that are big. And when they turn big and more yellow like that, they're ready to go. And these ones probably aren't fully ripe yet. Oh, this one is. So there's one. I just picked it off, and you can see the milk that comes out of it. I'm gonna try to show you how it's got this milky stuff. So usually I kind of bite that milky stuff off, and then check out this green fig, my favorite thing. Look at the inside of that. That is good stuff right there. Sweet, delicious, amazing fig. So I'm pulling off about half a dozen figs a day off just this one tree. And this is the most mature tree we got right now. And hopefully the other 5 or 6 trees, there I am. The other 5 or 6 trees will be ready before long. These are the tubes that the cats go in. So you see how these 2 tubes connect to the house. And there's 2 cat doors on the inside. The cats go in and out the cat doors. They go through these tubes into the enclosure, and boom, there they are. And they get to climb the ladder and climb the inside. I have all their litter boxes and food out here, so my house does not smell like cats. Love it. Let's go check out something else. We're putting in a fish pond, so we took all the dirt from the fish pond and we put it in this raised bed Xeriscape, and we have lots of edible stuff in here. We have prickly pear cactus, which is edible, right here. We have Peruvian apple cactus from Pamela, my wife's dad, Lou, and that's one of them right there. We just planted one little arm that he broke off for me. Now it's got a cluster. Then he broke off a second arm for me, and look at this cluster. It's like a whole little city of Peruvian apple right here. So the middle stalk, this one was the initial right here. It ended right here and down, and now look at all the extra growth. We have this blue palo verde, a Florida blue palo verde tree, which is just a stick on the ground I got for like I think 10 or 15 bucks from the Desert Botanical Garden plant sale here in town. And I didn't water him for the longest time. Then he started to bud, he died off. I uprooted him, put him over here, and I mean, look at him. He's blooming, he's growing. He's 3 times the size in just a month and a half since he started blooming his leaves again. I'm really impressed with that guy. He's apparently gonna put off little edamame pods that are edible. The aloe vera I use for all my smoothies is back there. And you can see I just let it kind of go wild back there. We have the granadas pomegranate tree, and we're starting to get some nice pomegranates. Last year we got 2 whole pomegranates, and this year there's over 20. And so we bought this tree for just, you know, $20 or so from a nursery, and it was small, and now it's huge. And we put the food underneath it for our tortoise, Leo the tortoise, because he lives inside this cave, and he has his little burrow that starts here and goes underneath the Xeriscape and ends about where the tree is, and then he's dug somewhere to the side. I don't know where he is. He comes out in the evening. It's a little too hot for him right now. And those prickly pear are kind of his food sometimes, like a little treat, little prickly pear leaf. So I just kind of found those around town, put them in the ground, and now they've got a lot of pups. Pineapple guava. I recommend if you want a bush in the Phoenix area, put in pineapple guava. The guy I love to watch on YouTube, John Kohler with growingyourgreens.com. He does this pineapple guava or feijoa, and it's great. I mean, I got, how many do I have? I have 10 or 12 of these things because I'm making a hedge of them over by my Kung Fu octagon concrete training floor for when I do my personal lessons here, my own training. And this Feijoa is going to be the hedge around that, but this one's on its own, and man, it put off like hundreds of pink, white, purple flowers that just tasted like, you can eat the petals, they tasted like ice cream this year. So hopefully next year we'll get some fruit. We got mint in this box. I put this box together with wood I found in the trash way. So it's so ghetto. But look, it's holding soil and doing its job. We got lemon mint, which is the purple flowering one. We've got orange, lime, chocolate mint. We got spearmint and apple mint. We've got different kinds of mint in here. And so I put this in my smoothies. Mint is so good in smoothies. And you can just pick off a leaf and eat it. This is spearmint. It's really calming for the body. I showed you this box last week of May, so just in 2 weeks. Look at go check out our other video from the end of May recap. And this box, the bush beans are in the middle, sequoia strawberries on the outside, and the Christmas lima pole beans have begun to grab on, and the Malabar spinach is getting crazy good looking. It's all down here and it's starting to vine up as well. So we're gonna have a nice little mix. And as usual, I'm still, even though it's 110 degrees outside, I'm pulling off strawberries like the dickens, because this box is in the shade after about 1 o'clock on. So, you know what? I gotta tell you something. When strawberries are hot, when they're in the middle of the sun, and you eat a strawberry while it's hot, man, it's so good. I'm gonna start cooking strawberries. No, I'm just kidding. But seriously, let me show you one. I'm growing 2 things I'm doing if you want to be successful. Last year, all my raised bed garden died off by the end of June. This year, it looks twice as good because I'm doing 2 things. I'm putting alfalfa hay. Can you guys see in there? My big head gets out of the way. I'm putting alfalfa hay inside the box and clover. So I'm hoping that the clover and the alfalfa hay will create soil moisture retention and conserve the water in the bed, in the dirt. And it seems to be working great so far. And then as the alfalfa hay breaks down, it becomes nitrogen in the soil. So, I mean, I recommend if you're gardening in Phoenix, it's impossible right now when it's 110 degrees to water too much. So anything you can do to keep the moisture in your dirt is key. And I'm doing that with the alfalfa hay. We got this box like before. It's got all the amethyst basil from Suzanne Velarde, Velarde Gardens. We also got lettuce leaf basil. Our cherry tomatoes are sprouting like crazy. I just picked another strawberry. I wanted to eat that while I'm talking to you. Good Lord, that's good. And I've got these cherry tomatoes, super sweet cherry tomatoes here. That's good. We got the golden berry, Inca berry, or Pichu berry, or Cape gooseberry, 3 times as big as when I planted it. The other day I'm out here at 5:30 in the morning watering, and this is one of the Thai basil plants I got from Suzanne Velarde by way of Greg Peterson's place called Root Phoenix. If you look at Root Phoenix Nursery, they're all edible nursery, and Suzanne Velarde has events all over town, and their stuff is so good. I planted a lot of their seedlings and trees, and they've all done very well. So anyways, I'm out here at 5:30, and I'm watering the garden, and I'm just spraying the garden. I'm like, man, someone's out cooking Thai food, or like some Vietnamese pho, that Vietnamese soup, at 5:30 in the morning. And I'm like, wait a second, that's the water hitting the basil plant. This basil, this Thai basil, is so fragrant. It smelled like I was in a Vietnamese or Thai kitchen. It was so wonderful out here at 5:30 a.m. I'm like, nobody cooks Thai food at 5:30 a.m. Anyways, we got tree kale doing great. This tree kale, it's about 11:45 right now in the morning, and you can see how it's starting to get in the shade. The Native American melons are starting to grow up that trellis. So this box has got cosmic purple carrots in it, 2 different kinds of beets. The beets are starting to look a little bit bad because I need to start to pick those. But these Hopi melons and these Navajo melons, I got these Navajo ones as seedlings from Style Nursery, the Style Nursery. Look them up on Facebook, the Style Nursery. And they're doing great. You can even see how they got like a little tiny little guy here. This little tiny little melon. And this one over here is a little bit bigger. Starting to get little melons hanging off. So this guy's cool because this trellis full of all these melons, it guards the carrots and the beets, gives them some more shade, and also guards the tree kale. We even have our little friend, Mr. 14-foot sunflower that's, I gotta cut the head off that guy and harvest the seeds. You can see how there's lots of good looking seeds inside there. So check it out. All you do is you just take this guy and you kind of brush the pollen away, and then look underneath there, you can see all the sunflower seeds. Wow, it's amazing. Come with me and you'll be in a world of my edible imagination. It's like the healthy Willy Wonkas out here. The Armenian cucumbers are champs as usual. They're growing above the trellis, which is what I wanted them to do. If ever they droop like this, I just kind of take them up and kind of help trellis them up even higher so that they kind of continue to ascend toward the gods. And like you see, for instance, this one is starting to kind of go off on his own, so I take him and I loop him around, and then he hooks on up here and will continue to climb higher. These guys are great. So this is like an Armenian cucumber in its infant stages. This is a little plump, fat little boy. This one's more normal looking. It's like a little long one. They're all different. But again, look at the alfalfa hay. That's the key this year for me. That was my big change I made to the garden. Look at this Japanese burpless cucumber. Dark green, looks nice. So, Armenian and Japanese cucumbers here. The eggplants in here are starting to grow. I got these tomato worms and I got them off of there. One of the other guys I'd like to follow online, who's kind of very inspiring to me, is Dylan Gabriel from the band Congos. He gardens here, and he's got a great YouTube channel full of his garden. I was originally inspired by him for a lot of stuff, especially the eggplants. And I love the way he has all of his plants trellised. So he's got tomato worms too. So look at how the tomato worms almost took out this plant, but it survived. Yes. So we got peppers and eggplant interspliced in here because they can take the full sun. The one thing I'm doing this year that's awesome is these huckleberries, man. Look at this. These are 3 right here. One, 2, 3 huckleberry plants. I have no idea what a huckleberry is except for huckleberry fin. So I got this, I went to rareseeds.com, Baker Creek seed company online, and I got the seeds for it, and I tried growing it and it didn't work. Tried growing it again a little bit later in the season, didn't work. Finally, when it got hot enough, they worked, and I planted them, and these guys made it. And look at the size of the huckleberries on this huckleberry plant. See if I can clear it up for you guys here. Looking amazing. These guys are green, and apparently you are not supposed to eat it when it's green because it's poisonous, but when they turn black, it's open season, man. So I've got 3 of these huckleberry plants doing really well in here, and each plant has probably, you know, over 100 huckleberries on it, and then more flowers coming up. I mean, I pull back every leaf, there's more berries everywhere, and the plant keeps getting bigger. So I planted about 10 of these plants, and I'm hoping I can have enough huckleberries for a huckleberry pie. And then I'm so stupid. And then we got these 3 scallop squash plants in here. Again, my secret for having success in the upcoming seasons is wherever you have gaps or holes or you're not knowing what to plant, plant bush or pole beans. These are all bush beans right here. These are all bush beans in here because they will fix nitrogen in the soil for the upcoming season. These Kakai pumpkins were looking really good, but right now, see how the sun's hitting them and frying the crap out of them? So I tried covering the Kakai pumpkins like this guy with sunflower leaves so that they don't get sunburn. And it's working, they're not getting any more sunburn. And I started planting some new watermelon plants in here with the Kakai pumpkins. You can see that good looking one right there. And I'm gonna see if the watermelon plants hopefully bring some more lusciousness over here, because the sunflowers were supposed to shade. These are all my sunflowers that are now dead. I cut the heads off them. They were supposed to shade out the pumpkins, and they're not really shading out as much as I thought. So I'm hoping that these guys make it, because look how the leaves look kind of droopy. At night they perk up, during the day they look like they're dying. And we'll see, I don't know. If John Kohler from growingyourgreens.com is watching this, Hey man, when do I harvest these Kakai pumpkins for the pepita seeds? Because they look good to me, but I don't want to take them off and then have them not be ripe on the inside yet. Give me some advice, man. This is the Sunchokes. Look at this. Okay, I'm 6'1" tall, and this is eye level for me. These Sunchokes keep going up like 8 feet plus, and they're all like beautiful looking yellow sunflowers. You can see how I'm just moving it. I mean, like, amazing. These Sunchokes are doing a great job because they were I just bought them from Whole Foods' grocery department for like $5, and now I got all these Sunchoke plants growing up. And what they're doing is they're shading. See, the sun sets over here, so they're shading out all my scallop squash and huckleberries after about 1, 2, 3 o'clock. This tree kale over here doesn't like the sun very much, so I've been taking this shade and covering him up like this during the daytime, and that seems to help. This box full of basil is just taking off. Once I put the alfalfa hay on top, this Thai basil went crazy. This lettuce leaf basil looked shocked for a month. It looked like it was just dying. He went to seed. Now look at him. He's got huge, awesome looking lettuce leaves. So I like this guy. So I'm gonna pick this leaf off. Look at the size of that basil leaf. Yeah. And I'm gonna eat this for you guys right now. See the basil leaf. It's like a pesto party. All right. We got new pomegranate right there. Blood orange, which is coming back from the frost we had this year. These apple trees looking like they're stabilizing. And this is my box of amaranth. Man, this stuff's cool. It takes the full sun, no problem. I water it once a day only. I got Hopi red dye and Love Lies bleeding varieties in here. For some reason, some of it, like this plant, was red until about a month ago, and then it turned green. And this one was beet red. Now it's kind of like a greenish tint, but it's still got the red seed. So look at how pretty this is. I mean, like, look at this. With the Sunchokes back here and the amaranth seed right here. Awesome. And all this amaranth is going to seed coming up. So eventually this whole box will be full of seeding amaranth. Looks great. Tomatoes in here are starting to die out. I'll probably plant something more heat tolerant here next year. So I put some of these shishito peppers from Suzanne Velarde in here, and they're loving it in there. So hopefully they'll get big and take over, because some of my strawberries and tomatoes are looking kind of sunburned. So next year I probably won't put any tomatoes in here. I'll probably put something more heat tolerant in here. What else I got to show you? Oh, I want to show you the living wall. So when you walk over to my pool area, here's the concrete floor with the pineapple guavas all around. You can see how there's a pineapple guava on every other side of the octagon, and they're small, but they're coming up. So eventually I'll have big edible hedges. This is the living wall. So I built a wall around the pool. The pool's back in there, little pool. I know we have a pool, but it's little, and my wife loves it, so we're gonna keep it. So we got the living wall here, and just, it looks so cool. I've got, in this part of the living wall, I've got more amaranth coming up. I planted 2 more amaranth plants. I got these other shishito peppers inside there. I've got my melons, my cantaloupe and cassava melons coming up. I've got the, what are these guys called? The West Indian burgerkins. Thanks to John Kohler for giving me the heads up on that. Growingyourgreens.com. My friend Matthew Lee and I like to watch that guy. All right, this is John Kohler with growingyourgreens.com. We'll see you next time, and don't forget, keep on growing. Peppers all up here. Look at these peppers on there. They're looking so good. An okra plant. Basically anything I'm finding in Phoenix in the bush bean variety, okra, peppers, and eggplant. You can grow anything in those 4 areas. And amaranth. Amaranth, the leaves are edible and the grain is edible. So amaranth, bush beans, okra, eggplant, peppers. Plant them. They can take the full heat. This is a cool thing called Egyptian spinach. And this is looking great. And just the other day I started putting off these weird looking tails. I don't know if the camera can pick that up. Weird looking like little tails on here. But this Egyptian spinach is pretty sweet. It tastes really good. and it's taking the heat full on. Look at that, 110 degrees today. Not even one leaf of the peppers, amaranth, melons, or Egyptian spinach is wilted. And look at the dinosaur kale. This guy hasn't even bolted yet, and it's 110 degrees yesterday and today here. And I just put this in my smoothies, and when it starts to bolt, I'll make some kale chips out of it. So it's a whole plume of dinosaur kale right there. These are 2 tomato plants I got from Home Depot because they had a sale going. And this one is called the the yellow pear cherry tomato heirloom variety, and this one is one I forget. But they're both looking huge. They have this shade, so they don't get sun till about 11:45 or 12 o'clock each day, and then they get sun until the end of the day, and they love that for some reason. Over here I have, from my friend I made friends with on Facebook, Paul, he hooked me up with some cool eggplants. And this eggplant is a white variety of eggplant, thing called eggplant blanca something, and look at how that eggplant is like whitish purple. So this guy's doing really nicely. He's a big eggplant looking deal. I got the black beauty going on here, and that one looks pretty good. I've got the bush beans going on here, and my melons coming through, and this okra plant is putting off the okra. You can see the okra starting to come off here. I planted this okra from seed, and then I got some other okra from Suzanne Velarde as well. More scallop squash right here. This is long Zucchini cucumbers, and they're a month behind because I killed the other ones by mistake, so they're a month or 2 behind, but they're looking pretty strong as far as a plant goes. And these are called Sikkim cucumbers. Look at how this box looks. So that's my bike, you can kind of see for proportion. So this is all scallop squashes around the outside, a golden pichu berry in the middle, and then Sikkim cucumbers up the trellis. And these Sikkim cucumbers are a brown, rusted looking one, and just today, for the first time, I saw the first semblance of a cucumber, and there it is right there. So I planted these guys. This is the 3rd planting. I kept trying it too early, and they didn't like the cold. We had hail here in like April, and it was crazy. So these Sikkim cucumbers are finally starting to produce big time. They're loving it. I've been pulling out scallop squash out of here like nobody's business. So just look at the living wall here. We have kumquat tree, scallop squash, eggplants, peppers, okra, tomatoes, dinosaur kale. The living wall just is looking really cool, and we're gonna put gates up here to block our tortoise and dogs so that it's a living wall that we can eat off of while we're swimming in the pool. So looking fantastic. And then as you walk this way along the wall, it's a cherry tree we just planted. He's liking it. On this half we have all the zucchinis, and we have more of these West Indian burgerkins, which man, these guys are so slow to take off. They're like, I couldn't get these to grow. I planted them twice and they just didn't make it. I really wanted them because John Kohler from growingyourgreens.com said they were really looking like they're a hardy cucumber that puts off these circular looking thorny cucumbers. And I couldn't get them to sprout. Finally I got a couple, and they looked shocked and dead, and they just sat there for a month. And now all of a sudden when it got super hot, like over 105, they bolted into this amazing looking plant. Now they're putting off runners and they're doing great. So this, I got all these zucchinis here, 2 different varieties. I have the Desert Star zucchini and the regular Black Beauty zucchini. I think it's called Desert Star. This is my $5 plum tree from Lowe's. And then behind these zucchinis, I keep picking the leaves to make room for the strawberries, because these are all strawberries down here, and so they get sun in the morning. But after noon, the zucchini shade the strawberries, so they're working together, kind of like a permaculture type deal. Over here, I've got, let me show you. See if I have a zucchini. Yeah, I got one in there starting to grow. I've been picking off like 3 or 4 a day, so I just picked a whole bunch this morning. So there's one new one coming up right there. That's a zucchini with the flower on it there. And I just can't, I have literally like 20 zucchinis in my fridge, so if anybody wants to come over here and help me water, I'm gonna hook them up with some zucchinis. You can see how the zucchini grows there. There's another one right there. Zucchini. And then everywhere I had gaps, I put more bush beans. If they don't produce beans, I don't care. They're just gonna fix nitrogen in the soil. This is one of the trellises I got. My dogs, the Perritos del Diablo, the devil dogs, they kept eating my watermelon plants. So 3rd attempt at watermelons. And finally, I'm getting the watermelon plants climbing the trellis here. For some reason, this dill plant is still alive and doing great. I like that. And here's this watermelon right here starting to climb. So hopefully in about a month or two from now, I'll give you another video of, I'm hoping that I'll have moon and star and regular and ancient watermelons and moon and star watermelons. These are more Christmas lima beans. And this is acorn squash that just started to put up its first acorn squashes right here. So cue back in for our next video and see how that's going. Because we have these trellises all down the way that'll be full of melons and squashes in about a month, because this area only gets sun about 5 hours a day. So we'll see if they produce. We'll see. It's my experiment. And this is the last thing I'll show you, then I'll chime out for today. This is a really cool looking plant. Look at that. It's called trellised azafran, Mexican saffron. And I've been harvesting this, and I've been keeping it in a jar in the fridge, and it doesn't taste like saffron. It's sometimes called imitation saffron. Can you guys see that? So it's more just for the color, and man, does it have color. Look at that. It's like on fire. So trellised azafran, Mexican saffron, is doing really well. I just planted it inside the cinder blocks, and it's blooming everywhere. And this looks so nice to have these little, almost thistle or artichoke looking blooms. So I'm gonna eat that right now. Tastes like absolutely nothing, but I can maybe it has antioxidants in it. That's it, you guys. So cue back in. Next time, I'll show you some more. We got more to show. I'll show you my moringa trees, which are starting to take off, man. Moringa trees are taking off. They like the heat. And another one of these, this is a Thai pumpkin. Hopefully we get some Thai pumpkins off this guy. All right, everybody. I'll kind of walk you down as we look. Oh, solar panels. There they are. 100% off the grid. No money down. 20-year lease with Solar City. 0 money down. 83 bucks a month. I'm off the grid. Solar panels. Do it. Love it. Own it. Like it. Charge it. Sun. Clean. I'll see you guys next time. This is Jake Mace saying, I have no idea what the hell I'm doing, but if you guys are willing to watch, I'm willing to get better. Give me some comments down below. See you next time.